I used to believe my family was normal. Not perfect. Not warm and fuzzy in a movie kind of way. But normal in the way where you accept small unfairnesses and tell yourself every family has quirks. I told myself I wasn't the favorite because favorites were something dramatic families had, families with obvious villains and obvious victims. My parents weren't villains. They fed me, clothed me, put a roof over my head. They told me they loved me. That should have been enough. I was wrong. Growing up, there were two constants in my life: my parents' expectations of me and their indulgence of my younger sister, Lena. Lena was 3 years younger than me. She was loud, charming, effortlessly likable. Teachers adored her. Relatives pinched her cheeks and called her the pretty one. When she cried, the world stopped. When I cried, I was told to be strong. I learned early that love in my house wasn't equal, it was conditional. Achievement-based. If I brought home good grades, I was praised. If Lena brought home average grades, excuses were made. If I made a mistake, it became a lesson. If Lena made one, it became a misunderstanding. By the time I was 16, my parents had started talking about my future. "You're the responsible one," my father would say, pride heavy in his voice. "You'll go far if you work hard," my mother would add. What they really meant was, "You don't need help." They opened a college savings account for me when I was young. Or at least, that's what they told everyone. They reminded me of it constantly. "We're sacrificing so much for your education," my mother said whenever I asked for anything. "Your sister doesn't need college like you do," my father said. "You're the smart one." I believed them. So I worked. I worked weekends. I worked summers. I skipped trips. I skipped parties. I skipped rest. I deposited money into that savings account whenever I could because I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want them to ever say I hadn't done my part. Meanwhile, Lena lived. She dated freely. She traveled with friends. She dropped out of community college twice. She moved back home rent-free. My parents called her finding herself. I called it unfair. Quietly. Only to myself. When Lena got engaged at 24, my parents were ecstatic. "Our baby is getting married," my mother cried, holding up the ring like it was proof of something holy. I smiled. I hugged her. I congratulated Lena. I didn't know I was smiling at my own betrayal. I found out on a Tuesday. Not during a dramatic confession. Not in a face-to-face conversation where my parents had the decency to look ashamed. I found out through a family group chat. I was at work, sitting in a break room that smelled like burnt coffee and disinfectant, scrolling through my phone while my lunch went cold. The chat family forever red heart pinged with a new message. "Mom, just sent the final payment to the venue. Everything is officially covered," smiling face with hearts. Then another message. "Aunt Sarah, wow. That place is expensive. How did you manage that?" Typing bubble. "Mom, we used the college fund." Family comes first, red heart, my brain stalled. College fund. The college fund. Mine. I stared at the screen like the words would rearrange themselves into something that didn't make my chest feel like it was collapsing inward. I scrolled up. Down. Read it again. No clarification. No explanation. Just that. My hands started shaking. I typed. "Me? What college fund?" 3 dots appeared almost immediately. Then disappeared. Then my phone buzzed again. "Mom, we'll talk later." That was it. No denial. No apology. Just dismissal. I left work early. I don't remember telling my supervisor why. I don't remember driving home. I remember sitting on my bed, staring at the wall, replaying every conversation I'd ever had about that account. Every sacrifice. Every dollar. Every night I went to bed exhausted but proud. Gone. Spent on flowers and table linens and a cake that would be eaten in 5 minutes. I called my dad. He didn't answer. I called Lena. She answered on the second ring. "Oh," she said after I asked her. "You didn't know?" I went in my parents' house that night. No warning. No calm plan. Just anger so sharp it felt like it could slice me open from the inside. They were in the living room when I arrived, watching TV like nothing had happened. Like my world hadn't just cracked in half. I stood there, keys still in my hand. You used my college savings, I said. My mother sighed. Not guiltily. Tiredly. Like I was a child complaining about chores. We told you we'd talk later. No, I said. You told the group chat. My father muted the TV. Sit down, he said. I didn't. How much? I asked. They exchanged a look. All of it, my mother said. Something in me broke. That was my money. It was family money, my father corrected. No, I said. It was for my education. You already graduated, my mother said. You're fine. Fine. I was still paying off loans. Still working 2 jobs. Still struggling. You didn't even ask me, I said. You would have said no, my father replied. That was the point. They didn't apologize. They justified. They told me I was selfish. Ungrateful. Cold. Your sister only gets married once, my mother said. You're strong, my father said. You'll recover. They reminded me of everything they'd ever done for me. Every meal. Every ride. Every birthday. They cried. They told me Lena would be devastated if I caused drama. They told me family sacrifices for each other. They never once said they were wrong. Lena texted me later. I didn't want to tell you, she wrote. Mom said you'd understand. I didn't reply. I didn't sleep. I replayed my entire life in that house and saw it clearly for the first time. The pattern. The favoritism. The way I was only valuable when I was useful. I realized something terrifying. If I let this go, it would never stop. Next time it would be a house down payment. A baby expense. Another emergency I was expected to absorb because I was strong. I decided I was done. I told them I wanted the money back. They laughed. I told them I would take legal action. They stopped laughing. My mother screamed that I was tearing the family apart. My father said he was ashamed of me. I told them they had already done that. I didn't attend the wedding. I blocked the group chat. I filed paperwork. I don't speak to my parents anymore. Lena sends me messages sometimes. Long ones. Emotional ones. Apologetic ones that still never quite accept responsibility. I paid my loans myself. It was hard. Lonely. Painful. But it was mine. The lesson I learned is one I wish I'd learned sooner. Family doesn't mean sacrificing yourself until there's nothing left. Love that demands silence isn't love. And being strong should never mean being exploited. I worked for years. They gave everything to their favorite child. And I finally gave myself permission to walk away.